Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or find a way to lose. Well, there you go. Anthony Joshua looks like he's going to be fighting Jermaine Franklin, and they're finalizing a deal. It's all been agreed to verbally. Hasn't been signed yet, but I think it's safe to say that that's the direction Joshua is proceeding. And to be quite honest with you, I think this is a good move for a couple of reasons. One, because I think Jermaine Franklin represented himself well against Dillian Whyte. I think the stars lined up for Jermaine Franklin because Dillian Whyte, being with a different trainer like Buddy McGirt, Buddy McGirt is one of those guys that, is hit or miss. I get it what he did with Arturo Gatti, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure Buddy McGirt and what's his name, Dillian Whyte is a good matchup. Because we saw when Dillian Whyte was boxing and doing certain things in the ring, just playing it safe and not trying to get hit with anything clean. I mean, it was a lackluster affair. But as soon as he, reverted back to his old ways of doing business, letting his hands go, being that lion, not being a pussycat tiptoeing around the ring, we saw that he damn near got Jermaine Franklin out of there, but he decided to turn it on too late. So that being said, with Jermaine Franklin, who's a great fighter, I just think, Dillian Whyte, if he wanted, could have got him out of there. He's just too big and too strong for Franklin. But again, Franklin represented himself well, and that could be a result of Dillian Whyte not being aggressive and being the lion that we've known him to be. Now, so that being said, with Jermaine Franklin and Anthony Joshua, I'm glad Jermaine Franklin's getting another payday. I think with between the Dillian Whyte fight and Anthony Joshua fight, I don't know any specifics on the financial details, but I'm for sure thinking that he probably, with those two fights combined, would have made over $1 million. And that is what I like to hear about these guys who are grinding it out from the grassroots level, who aren't really getting the opportunities, and to see them kind of find a way to kind of open up the aperture and ease their way in to these opportunities. Although the opportunities are earned and he deserves it, it's still an opportunity that maybe he wouldn't have received had he not represented himself pretty well against Dillian Whyte. And if Anthony Joshua, they weren't really trying to rebuild him. So this is a good thing for Anthony Joshua because he goes into this fight even without being with Derek James, right? The AJ who lost to Usyk, that AJ, without anyone training him, right? He could have stuck after that Usyk fight, not done any training with any trainer, just with what he knows going into a training camp by himself, AJ would beat Jermaine Franklin. Simple. And the reason why I say that is because you look at what he possesses naturally, he has all the advantages. Reach, height, power, everything. It's just nothing Jermaine Franklin is going to be able to do that I think is going to be able to discourage or help him to get a defeat against Anthony Joshua. Don't get me wrong, I'm a boxing enthusiast just like you. And boxing, the best fighter doesn't win the fight. The fighter who boxes the best, and one punch can change a fight. I just don't see it happening here. I think Anthony Joshua being with Derek James, he's going to have a great game plan, and Anthony Joshua is going to look magnificent when he knocks Franklin out. And I'm not saying that to downplay Franklin and like him. I'm rooting for him to get paid, but I just, all the rooting in the world is not going to help him beat Joshua. Now, after Anthony Joshua, what we do know is Eddie Hearn has him already lined up to get back in the ring and fight Dillian Whyte. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, my understanding is Anthony Joshua gets through Franklin, and sooner than later, he'll be back in the ring against Whyte, probably by the summer. So that's a good thing, because that means maybe Anthony Joshua, after Dillian Whyte, he may take another fight, because I think he blasts Dillian Whyte out of there within 2 rounds, to be quite frank. Maybe a few months after that, he gets another fight, and then maybe he takes a little 4 to 5 month rest and gets in there with Wilder at the end of the year. That would have given him 4 fights, super active, super sharp, more than enough time to adapt to his new trainer's instructions and the expectation. And then I think Anthony Joshua, if he can get in the ring with Wilder, now we know that's a high-risk fight for both of them, but if he beats Wilder, then definitely Anthony Joshua, it's just a matter for him to fight whoever's back at the top. And again, we still have to wait and see how things play out and how Anthony Joshua, how he's doing mentally. His mental health is extremely important. And as long as Derek James can help him in that area, Anthony Joshua may have something. So that being said, once they announce that the fight has actually been signed, then we'll start kind of breaking this fight down. But I can't see anyone who will be actually giving Jermaine Franklin a chance to defeat Anthony Joshua, with Anthony Joshua being over there with Derrick James. It is going to be an interesting fight, and to see just how Anthony Joshua performs. But we got to be careful for Anthony Joshua knocking out Jermaine Franklin to all of a sudden say Anthony Joshua is back. Nah, he's going to come back and knock out Dillian White, and then we'll see. We'll see who's after that, because even Dillian White, that's not a good measuring stick. Dillian White, let's get for real, all right? Buddy McGurk, to me, is hurting Dillian White, kind of like I feel like with Roy Jones and Eubank Jr. But at the same time, to be fair, I did see the video. Eubank Jr. did get hit with an elbow, and it was pretty hard shot. But nonetheless, it is what it is. So that being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I'm glad AJ is back. Shout out to all 7 continents. See what Derrick James can do with him. Get him back with a big knockout, going to another big fight. And then we'll see what happens at the end of this year if he can get in there with Deontay Wilder. Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.